Bonjour, it is Dan again from Do's the Limit. On Saturday, March 5th, France with C'est vous, décidez will have their 12 songs performed to see who follows in Barbara Pravi's footsteps. Do we have another runner-up or potential winner in these 12 songs? I'm going to do things a little bit differently with this video. The order that I'm presenting the songs will be my personal order from 12th all the way up to my first. These are not exactly the orders that I think they will finish in the national final, but just my own personal rankings. I do want to commend France. Since 2018, since they started having national finals again, we have not seen a single returning artist that had participated in their national finals, at least not as far as I can remember. While other countries tend to be more lenient in allowing the same acts kind of compete over and over again, as long as they have good songs, it seems like France really values the diversity in saying, we really want to showcase what France has to offer just in our national final. We don't have to just limit ourselves to 20 or 30 artists. So my number 12 and sadly last place is Helen in Paris with Paris mon amour. Mais toi tu as un je ne sais quoi qui ne me quitte pas. C'est une histoire d'amour. This song is just too old-fashioned. It's a little jazzy. I'm sure it'll be a nice moment on stage. I'm sure they're going to have some very kind of classical style staging, maybe with a nice city or a river walk or something like that. I assume the Eiffel Tower will be somewhere in this performance. As I would expect it on a wall or maybe a physical version of it. It'll be a nice moment, but it's not quite right for Eurovision. So my number 11 is Sam with Il est où. Il est où? Sans doute englouti par le temps et je veux de l'amour et de la joie pour mitrailler vos cœurs. It's a nice song. You're kind of swaying back and forth to it. It's got a really interesting raspy voice. Kind of a clean-cut look to him, so I think it'll have some appeal, but the song itself, kind of like the last one, feels like it has some more of those older classic style of French elements I just don't think are going to quite carry him very far into this competition. Seems like he borrowed a little bit of Barbara Pravi's playbook here with that little speed up at the end, but I don't think it's going to be enough to get him to the victory. My number 10 song is Jaune with Madame. Madame. You may be noticing a little bit of a pattern here, but I don't tend to favor some of these more older style classic French elements or even musical kind of elements entries. I think she's probably the best of these kinds of songs, but it just doesn't quite gel with me. She has a very gorgeous voice. I love her sense of style, at least in the video, or the, whatever you want to call it, recorded video with studio audio over top of it. With the crop of songs we have this year, I can't see this winning. I can see it having a good jury performance and actually being kind of up there in that list. But I think once the televote hits, there's just other options people are going to gravitate towards. My 9th place is going to Marius with Les Chansons d'amour. There's nothing inherently wrong about this song or this performance or his voice or anything. It's an extremely well-polished, well-performed ballad. But about a minute and 10 seconds into it, and even going further, I was ready to just press next, and I am almost every time I hear it. The song just doesn't grow or go anywhere for me. It's just very simple, very neat, but it doesn't have that extra bit of authenticity that, say, Salvador had in 2017. This feels like just kind of any ballad, and it's just very nicely performed. It'll do well with the juries. I don't expect it to do too great with the televote, but we'll have to see. My 8th place is Seprenzeni with Mia Family. I think this will be the vocal performance of the night. Just based on the studio recordings, it seems like Cyprien has an extremely strong voice. This is a really great blend of a modern pop song with some of those African elements kind of infused into it. think this will be a great crowd pleaser. This could be a good entry to kind of open the show or maybe close the show with, because it's still very fun, very easy to get into. And we'll have to see. Maybe it'll have some great staging, and this could be a shock winner. My 7th place is Elia with Telephone.
Ma génération n'attend rien de personne. Ma génération s'aime tant que tu t'abonnes.
She can sing this song well live because it is not an easy song to sing. This is probably one of the most fun bops that I found myself kind of grooving to, that I definitely see myself adding to playlists. It's well executed. It does a really good job of kind of adding and removing instruments in different places to keep you interested. There's a lot of vocal effects, which, like I've said in some of my other videos, sometimes are used to mask potentially weaker vocals, which you can't hide in the live performance. I'm kind of getting some flashbacks of like a Florina in the Shadows from a couple years ago. I think that was 2019, where the recorded version was just incredible, but she just didn't have the voice to sing it live, and it just fell kind of flat on its face. So I'm hopeful for this one, but also very, very cautious. My 6th place is Julia with Shoot. Funky, sexy. I expect this to have some of the coolest staging, hopefully. Really love how the percussion is organized in this song. Going with some of those like rim strikes on the drums, the bass is, everything works really well together to create this slightly retro, but still kind of modern, funky vibe. I love the spoken bridge part too, because it's very short. Sometimes when they do kind of spoken parts of a song, it can be a little bit too much. But I feel like just having that little bit of spoken at the bridge, and then it goes into the final chorus, it comes together really nicely. And this is a fun song. So we are now into my top 5 favorites from this national final. And at number 5, it is Pauline with Nuit Pauline.
Une idole qu'on assassine, coule des larmes de crocodile, être une héroïne.
An 80s electric harp dance number is not something I thought I would be saying, but I'm happy that France is bringing this kind of diversity to the competition. This is a super duper cool song. I think the bass, the lows could come in a little bit more, because right now the song just feels like everything's very high. Her voice is very high, the harp is very high, everything is up at the higher ends. And I think if you brought some of that down, it would let the harp, which I feel is the most important part of the song, kind of shine a bit more through. Because her voice and the harp, I mean, I know they're kind of harmonized, but rather the harp be a little more pronounced in coming forward. I wouldn't mind seeing this at Eurovision. I think it'd be a super cool entry to send, though I don't know if it would do particularly well. I would enjoy it. At number 4, I have Joanna with Navigator. The pleasant mid-tempo dance track that I feel like does what I wanted Pauline to do, but this does it right. This has her higher vocals coming in with that lower bass and drums to just complement each other. I think this is probably one of the most radio-friendly tracks of the entire bunch. She seems like she has a very unique and cool sense of style, so I'm expecting some awesome staging for this as well. Only thing I don't really like is in the bridge, felt like that was added in just so that it made the bridge different, but I would almost have just preferred leaving it out, or maybe just have some ahs, or something involving her. It just feels very weird to have it there. That would be the one little thing I would probably change with it. Everything else I like. I think it's a cool entry. Oh boy, we are into the top 3, and at number 3, it is Alvin and Az with Foulin. Second coming of Tank Segueres, maybe. It's tribal, it's ethnic, rushing drums. I love the way the song builds up to that big heavy bass line when the chorus hits. This is going to be a fan favorite. This is going to be one that people will be talking about leading up to the show, that if executed well, definitely could end up being a winner and being a hugely strong entry at Eurovision. Because like I said about Tank Segueres in one of my other videos, this goes to Eurovision. There's nothing else that's going to sound like it. It will stand apart. That all being said, this is going to be an extremely hard song to sell, and if any one of them, any elements of the staging, if any of the voices are off, then it's going to have a really, really hard time to even win the national final. But if they get everything right, could be a winner. And my second favorite is SOA with Soul, or is it SOA? Not sure. Listening to all 12 of these songs, if I had to pick a winner today, just to guess, it would be this one. I think this is the most complete pop song, maybe even the most radio friendly. I know I said that about Joanna's, but I think this one actually is the most radio friendly because the very first time I heard this, the moment I got into the first chorus, I was already into it. I was already excited to see what happens next. The rap verse in the second part is awesome. Their harmonies, the way that they perform together, even in the video, just stage presence is really great. And I fully would love to see this at Eurovision. Like I said, I think this would be a top 10 entry at Eurovision. I think it's just going to have a really great global appeal for other countries to vote for this. No boy, that only leaves one song left, and I don't think any of you watching this are going to agree with me, but my number one, my favorite track of this selection is Elliott with La Tempête. What I said about Soul being an immediate reaction and immediate gravitation towards, I can say about this song as well. For me, Soul and La Tempête, there's a pretty big gap between them and everyone else that I had mentioned before this. Those two really stand out for me. First thing I think of Elliott, I think John's Tears. If he's great live vocally, this song really has that, say, full falsetto, but definitely higher vocals. This song never stops growing. All the way up until the very end where it comes all the way back down. It's constantly adding more instruments. It's adding more power. He's getting more animated. The diversity in his voice starts to change. He's not just singing the song the exact same way over and over again with the same notes. He's starting to evolve it. He's starting to tweak it. And again, this is all within the studio version, but assuming that's converted to the live version. So this is the one I can't stop listening to. It's on my playlist. I've been just mashing repeat on it. I think it's just a gorgeous atmospheric entry. Kind of makes you want to go on an epic journey into the skies. I don't know how to describe it. It's so cool. I love this entry. Whatever happens, it's really nice to see that France and Spain this year have given us an amazing crop of songs where we're used to the big five, not always quite delivering as much as we'd like to. So let me know down in the comments below if you guys have a top three or if you have one that you think is just going to blow everyone out of the water. Of course, I've never heard of any of these artists, so I don't know if some are bigger in France than others, and maybe that gives them an advantage. Of course, Bilal had a massive following going into 2019's national final, so I don't know if any of these quite have that. But yeah, let me know in the comments below, and we will see you next time.